Well, as Reverend Kim mentioned and most of us experienced, we had a wonderful time on Friday at our holiday program and sing-along. We shared love and laughter and the joy of the season. We had sweet treats. We had wise words from Santa. And we even learned the deeper meaning of the song Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So it was just a beautiful, beautiful time and a wonderful reminder of what this season is all about. Dr. Marcus Bach was a well-known Unity minister and a prolific writer of many, many books, wrote in one of his books entitled Because of Christmas. Because of Christmas, we feel the fellowship of kindred spirits, of something deeper than the gift that's been given. And we know instinctively that beyond the frenzy of it all, a hopeful quiet lies ahead, gift-wrapped in a day of peace when the world is strangely still and we are conscious of our deepest self. Does that sound like the Christmas day you're expecting to experience tomorrow? It's not too late to set your intention on a day of peace tomorrow by being that peace today. As the saying goes, now is a gift. That's why they call it the present. So by now, most of the hustle and bustle leading up to Christmas Day is behind us. Only the preparation of Christmas dinner or brunch and perhaps simply partaking of it, all that lies ahead. And we can choose to unwrap the gift of a day of peace by allowing our mind to become naturally still, so that we're conscious of our deeper self. There is a spirit of Christmas, a spirit of joy to the world, a spirit of peace on earth that brings goodwill to our self-expression. The spirit of Christmas calls to us from our deepest self. If we stay open to that call, no matter what we're doing and no matter what's going on around us, we'll savor every moment of Christmas Day rather than wishing it away and finishing the day with a sigh and well, that's over till next year. My longtime good friend and author, Dennis Merritt Jones, wrote in an article for Science of Mind magazine, "What if we could celebrate Christmas all year long? Because it seems to bring out the best in most of us." He said he wished the seasonal good cheer that's here this time of year could be a daily experience for all of us, with strangers, family, neighbors, friends, co-workers, all year long. Along with deciding what ingredients we'll put into the dishes we'll serve on Christmas Day. We get to decide what qualities of our deeper self we'll add to the ingredients as we prepare it. What is the secret ingredient that makes Christmas such an honored and welcomed celebration around much of the world? Dennis wrote the answer is clearly love. The gift giving, the bright lights, the great food, the festive music may help stimulate good feelings. But it's the love that ascends from that quiet place in our deepest self that brings out the best in us. Dennis suggested that when we enter the Christmas of the heart, or the heart of Christmas, we discover a transformational doorway that leads to a deeper experience of ourself. Love seems to rise up from the deep within and live closer to the surface of our life. Our sense of humanity, based on our belief that we are a separate human and only a separate human, dissolves into the awareness of our divinity. We experience unity and spiritual harmony with others, with our family, with our friends, with strangers we meet. And we become more clearly aware of our oneness with God and with all creation. In this way, Christmas becomes a sacred remembrance of who we truly are and what truly matters. We becomes much more important than me. If we let it, the spirit of Christmas will bring a stillness to our mind in the midst of a noisy Christmas Day celebration, and an inner peace beyond our human understanding. The poet Rumi wrote, "You have more love inside you than you could ever understand." Now, as it's been mentioned, the title of my talk today is The Sound of Silence. Silence is the resting place for our mind and the forever home of our heart. To even try to understand it or define it interrupts the sound of it. Silence isn't a concept. It's an experience. When our mind tells us what silence is lost in the noise of our thinking. Though it may be wordless, it isn't empty. It's full of the pure energy of love and a peace that passes our understanding. It's been said silence has never once had a single opinion about anything, and yet remains eternally at peace. Silence is ready to be unwrapped in any moment that we decide to quiet our human thoughts about who we and others are because we've judged who we've all been before. It's experienced whenever we let go of our opinions about what life is for because of what it's been so far. We can only be conscious of our deeper self when our surface self isn't making waves or troubling the waters. Early on Christmas Day, or later on today, on this Christmas Eve, before the festivities begin, we can take a moment to treasure the silence within. Then we're more able to choose to be a gift this season to all of those around us by offering loving kindness and patience and forgiveness. And by allowing everyone to be who they are without any expectations of how they should be. The spirit of Christmas is the meaning of this and every season. Now, some of us may have read this story or already know the story about the daughter of a king who wanted nothing more for her birthday than to hear the loudest sound in the kingdom. And so her father, who loved her very much, searched and searched all over the kingdom. And after considering many loud and noisy things, he decided that the thing that made the loudest noise was the human voice. So he commanded all of the kingdom to shout at precisely noon on the day of his daughter's birthday. And when the hour came, the daughter came out on the balcony of the castle so that she could fully hear the loudest sound. But she wasn't the only one who wanted to hear it. Many of the people of the kingdom wanted to hear that sound too. So each, alone and by themselves, secretly, decided not to shout, but to listen so they could hear it. In fact, everyone, everywhere in the kingdom, made the same secret decision. So that when the time came, no one uttered a word or made a sound. And the sound of silence filled the air with such profound peace that everyone in the kingdom experienced it together. It's easy to be fooled into thinking that silence is empty and can't be felt. But we've only to experience it once to know it's full of peace that we undeniably feel. It's a peace that pulsates with life and existence in harmony, together as one. A peace that carries a vibration that's full of unlimited potential for the creation of beauty and goodness that has not yet been thought of before. In other words, it's full of the vibration of unthought thoughts, ready to be translated by us and to fill our mind with new thoughts. But the new awareness that causes new words to come forth for us to speak, and new actions that transform our life and the world in which we live. Silence carries a powerfully potent flow of wisdom that is much greater than the power of words. Whenever we're able to fade out the noise in our mind, if only for a moment, we find we're immersed in an endless ocean of knowledge. Yet it flows with a peace that passes our human understanding and a love beyond our human reasoning. A love that has no opinion about who deserves love. A love that quietly is unresisted, unrestricted, and unconditional. The silence of love, when we let it, gives shape to our self-expression. Our every thought, our every word, our every action. In any moment we choose, it's quiet peace over the noise of our mind. Marcus Bach went on to write in the same book, someday, a special genius will come along with a plan, a system, and a technique for extending the supernormal magic of Christmas Day into weeks and months, and eventually into a year, bridging the gap from Christmas to Christmas until we say, why didn't someone think of this a long time ago? It could be that we've been trying to think of it rather than to listen to it in our deepest self. It could be that the plan is so simple and the system so uncomplicated that there are no words to conceive of it or convey it once it's been conceived. Talking about the spirit of Christmas as if it's something outside of us, or merely a seasonal presence that only comes once a year, won't get us anywhere. Because we're created to feel it within us and be it on earth in every season. Unconditional love is the gift wrapped inside of us. It's up to us to open ourselves and give it away. But we can only do that one moment at a time by listening within us to the sound of silence. Namaste.